I dragged my roommate, Leo, to the university library to start a TikTok live. A bunch of people, curious to see what the inside of the Northwood University library looked like, started filtering into the stream. Then I slid my hand down to my thigh. Leo, holding the phone, shot me a disgusted look and wrinkled his nose. The live chat immediately exploded. Last time, because of this exact motion, someone secretly recorded me and posted the video online. A girl with a god complex accused me of sexually harassing her. My grandpa got swarmed by the online mob, had a stroke, and died 6 months later. My mom and dad had complete mental breakdowns and became recluses. I fell into a deep depression. Even after I won the lawsuit, my accuser faced no real punishment. She happily accepted a scholarship to a graduate program in the UK. I couldn't see a way out. I chose to end my own rotten life. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the exact day I was secretly filmed in the library. This time, I refused to be caught in the trap of defending myself. So gross. Why is he doing that in a library? I was thinking of applying to Northwood. Not anymore. Seriously, how does a guy like that even get into Northwood U? Leo shoved the phone in my face. Ethan, dude, stop scratching. You gotta see this. With a look of immense relief on my face, I glanced at the comments. Unfazed, I pulled out the doctor's note I'd prepared and held it up to the camera. Sorry, everyone, I explained in a low voice. I have atopic dermatitis. The itch on my inner thigh is unbearable. I really couldn't help it. Out of the corner of my eye, I watched the girl sitting across from me. I saw her carefully slide her phone out from under the desk and slip it into her pocket, acting as if nothing had happened. I smiled. Some things never change. I took my phone back from Leo and propped it up under the table. You all are my witnesses, I said to the camera. My jeans are on. I didn't put my hand inside my pants. I was just scratching through the fabric because I couldn't stand it. With a clear view of my fully intact jeans, the viewers went quiet. Got it, man. We saw the doctor's note. Even if you did stick your hand in there, we wouldn't say anything at this point. No way, I shot back. If I did that and someone filmed it, they'd say I was jacking off in public. The chat filled with laughing emojis. I was impressed by their quick grasp of the situation. Last time, even through a thick pair of jeans, my scratching was twisted into harassment. I fell right into the trap of having to prove my innocence. Living this again, I finally understand. The moment you start defending yourself, you've already lost. Even if you eventually clear your name, the cost is just too high. The girl across from me stood up, shot me a disdainful look, and walked out of the library. Watching her leave, I ground my teeth. Ava Johnson, I thought. You think you could just run your mouth and ruin someone's life with zero consequences? This time, let's see if you can handle the consequences of framing me. I immediately saved the recording of the live stream. It was my most critical piece of evidence. I could use it anytime I needed to. After that, Leo and I left the study area. He finally asked what was bothering him. Ethan, did you really just drag me to the library to film you scratching yourself? I looked at Leo, a mix of gratitude and guilt welling up inside me. Last time, he was the only one who stood by me. He tried to explain to everyone that I had severe eczema, that I was just scratching an itch, not being a creep. But his lone voice was drowned out by the roar of the crowd. He paid a heavy price for defending me, becoming a target himself until he was forced to drop out. I slung an arm around his shoulders. Come on, it's on me. I'm treating you to something good tonight. Leo put on a show of reluctance. Dude, you don't have to. I just held your phone for a few minutes. But when I told him I was taking him to that new all-you-can-eat sushi place, the one that's $100 a head, he dropped to one knee in the middle of the quad. My liege, I am forever in your debt. Full and happy, Leo and I stumbled back to the dorm. Lying in bed, I checked the date on my phone. October 10th, 2023. Tomorrow, the storm would break. For now, I just let it play out. Sure enough, the next day around noon, Leo ran up to me, his face pale as he clutched his phone. Ethan, you're getting dragged online. Hard. I took the phone. A TikTok titled, "This guy is so gross. Can't believe he did this in the university library," had gone viral. Millions of views. I narrowed my eyes. The account name was at Northwood Angel. It was all happening again. It was definitely Ava Johnson. Leo was practically shaking me. Dude, post your recording. Get ahead of this before it gets even bigger and clear your name. I waved a dismissive hand. Why should I have to clear my name? Just so they can give me some half-assed apology. Leo looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Ethan, are you crazy? You're not afraid of getting canceled. His words sent a shiver down my spine, a phantom echo of the onslaught I'd faced before. Even reborn, you can't erase memories like that. I still felt a knot of dread in my stomach. Of course I'm afraid, I said. But what if I'm not the one who ends up getting canceled? Leo just stared, completely bewildered. I grabbed his arm and pulled him toward the dining hall. Come on, don't worry about it. Just watch. While we ate, I scrolled through my phone. The video was everywhere. Self-righteous influencers were stitching it, adding their own commentary. The internet was a tidal wave of hate, all directed at me. Even though I'd been through it once, the sheer volume of it made my blood run cold. At 6 o'clock that evening, while I was studying in the library, my phone rang. It was my academic advisor. Ethan, can you come to the Dean of Students' office? We need to see you. On my way, I said. The inevitable had arrived. The dean's office was packed. My advisor, Sarah, stood beside me, her expression grim. The dean slid a piece of paper across his desk. Read this. The university just issued a statement. I picked it up. Northwood University is aware of the online reports regarding an incident of alleged harassment. We have formed a task force to investigate the matter thoroughly. Last time, when they handed me this statement, my mind went completely blank. I had no idea what any of it had to do with me. This time, I calmly skimmed it and handed it back. Seeing my nonchalant attitude, the vice president of student affairs, who oversaw campus discipline, scowled. You have nothing to say for yourself? I shook my head. I didn't do anything. What do you want me to say? The dean shot me a glare. Watch your tone, Mr. Hayes. We've seen the video the accuser provided. We're not blind. That set me off. Last time, they convicted me based on nothing more than Ava's blurry, out-of-context video. Even after I won my lawsuit, I never got any compensation from the university, just a hollow, meaningless apology. This time, I had no illusions about the university giving me justice. I was going to take control of my own fate. Seeing my defiant silence, Sarah gently tugged on my arm. Ethan, just admit you were out of line. If the school gets the police involved, you'll be in real trouble. I could see the genuine worry on her face. I knew she meant well, but what was I supposed to admit to? I hadn't done anything wrong. The vice president lost his patience. Just go, he snapped, waving me away. Wait for the committee's decision. I turned and walked out without a backward glance. Sarah started to follow me, but the dean stopped her. Leave him. A student with such a corrupt character doesn't belong at Northwood. I glanced back and saw her conflicted expression. I offered her a small, appreciative smile. It's okay, Sarah. Don't worry, I'll be fine. When I got back to the dorm, Leo was pacing anxiously. He rushed over as soon as I walked in. Ethan, what happened? What did they say? A flicker of warmth went through me. It's nothing. They just wanted to ask some questions. I immediately pulled out my phone and called the lawyer I'd already hired. I went over the plan with him one more time, step by step. The next morning, I was sitting in my linear algebra class when the dean walked in with 2 police officers. Professor Cheen, apologies for the interruption. I need to speak with a student. Professor Cheen nodded and set down his chalk. Ethan Hayes, please come with me. I stood up to leave, but Leo grabbed my arm, his eyes wide with fear. I patted his hand reassuringly. It's cool. I'll be right back. The classroom erupted in whispers. I walked out calmly. The dean gestured toward me. Officers, this is Ethan Hayes. You can take him. One of the officers nodded and spoke to me politely. Mr. Hayes, would you mind coming with us to the station? We just need to ask you a few questions. I went with him and got in the patrol car. At the station, they asked for my phone. Can I make one phone call first? The officer nodded. To your parents? Of course. I thought for a moment, then call my dad. He's the stoic one, better at handling bad news. Dad, I need to tell you something. I started. There's a lot of stuff online right now about me harassing another student. I want you to know it's not true. I'm at the police station right now, cooperating with their investigation. Don't you and Mom worry. And whatever you do, don't let Grandpa hear about this. With his high blood pressure, this will all be cleared up soon. My dad listened in silence. When I finished, he finally spoke, his voice steady. Son, if you say you didn't do it, I believe you. Just cooperate with them. After hanging up, I called my lawyer. He told me not to worry and that he was on his way. I handed over my phone and walked into an interrogation room. The police asked me what happened in the library that night. I told them everything beat by beat. The itch was unbearable, so I scratched it through my pants. I admitted the action itself might have looked a little weird and that I should have gone to the bathroom, but the itch came on so suddenly I just reacted. After I showed them my medical records, they seemed to understand. By the time my lawyer arrived, they had already finished taking my statement. After leaving the station, my lawyer and I didn't go back to campus. We went straight to the courthouse to file the lawsuit. At first, the clerk's office didn't take it seriously. They advised me to just try and settle out of court. But then I took out my phone and showed them. Showed them how I'd been doxxed, how my face had been photoshopped on funeral wreaths and tombstones, how my entire family was getting death threats, with strangers cursing them out, asking why we weren't dead yet. The clerk's expression changed instantly. Just as I was about to put my phone away, a call came in from Leo. "Ethan, it's bad. You have to post your evidence now," he said, his voice frantic. "The university just announced your punishment. I'll send you the screenshot." I smiled. Looks like I had another defendant to add to the list. I opened the image Leo sent. It was an official university notice. Upon investigation and review of the facts, and in accordance with university regulations, the disciplinary committee has decided to issue a formal reprimand to undergraduate student Ethan Hayes, class of 2026. Northwood University has a zero-tolerance policy for misconduct. Once verified, such actions will be met with decisive consequences. I just shook my head. What investigation? What facts? This was just the university trying to protect its own reputation, caving to the pressure of the online mob. Too bad for them. They wanted to save themselves, but I wasn't going to let them off the hook. When an avalanche starts, every snowflake plays a part. Everyone who did something wrong was going to pay. After the case was officially filed, a court official told me they would expedite the hearing, given the escalating online vitriol and the severe impact it was having on me, my family, and the university. He asked if I had any other requests. I looked at my lawyer. We both knew the answer. We wanted the entire trial to be live-streamed. After a quick consultation with his superior, our request was approved. When I returned to campus, I was met with stares of contempt and people pointing and whispering. I ignored it all and went straight to my dorm. Leo let out a huge sigh of relief when he saw me. "My God, man, you need to post your video and clear your name. I've been trying to defend you online, and I'm getting absolutely roasted." Seeing his face scrunched up with worry, I laughed. "How about that $100 sushi again tonight?" Leo looked like he was about to cry. "Dude, I can't go out. If I'm seen with you, I'm pretty sure someone will try to jump us." He said that, but his body still followed me obediently out of the building. As we were leaving campus, we ran right into Ava Johnson. She saw me, sneered, and let out a cold little huff. Leo scowled. "You know her, Ethan?" he muttered. "Didn't know you were friends with someone that unfortunate looking." I grinned. "That's at Northwood Angel. You don't recognize her?" Leo was stunned. "That's the girl who said you harassed her? Where does she get the confidence?" I just shrugged. I had no idea. During dinner, Leo suddenly yelled, phone in hand. "Ethan, the troll, posted an update." I took his phone. The title of a new TikTok made me lose my appetite. Saw that creep again by the campus gates. The way he looks at me is so gross. The video was just a shot of mine and Leo's backs as we walked away. The comments section was full of people cheering her on and calling me a pervert. I tossed the phone back to Leo, not wanting to see any more. Laugh it up, I thought. Let's see if you're still laughing in a few days. For the next couple of days, Leo stuck to me like glue, terrified I was going to have a breakdown. "Ethan, you can't just bury your head in the sand. This isn't going to just blow over if you stay quiet," he pleaded. "The internet will never let you forget. Listen to me, just post the video you edited." I shook my head firmly. I didn't want an apology. I didn't want this to be resolved quietly. I wanted Ava Johnson to pay a price she couldn't afford. 3 days later, the court summonses were delivered to the university and to Ava. My advisor, Sarah, found me immediately. "Ethan, are you insane? Why are you suing the university?" I held up a hand, signaling for her to calm down. The university made a mistake, so it needs to own it. Besides, Northwood prides itself on its integrity and open-mindedness. I'm sure they won't hold a little lawsuit against one of their students. Seeing she was still on edge, I tried to reassure her. What about Ava? She asked. She already has that scholarship for her grad program. You're suing her too. I narrowed my eyes, my voice turning to ice. She's the one who started this whole witch hunt. I'm the victim here, and I'm not feeling particularly forgiving. I will not let her get away with it. Seeing she couldn't change my mind, Sarah sighed in defeat. That night, at Northwood Angel posted again. The video was titled, "OMG, you guys, the guy who harassed me is suing me now." Crying face, she dramatically held up the court summons for the camera. The comments were flooded with messages of support. "We got your back, girl. You did nothing wrong. Don't be scared. Our legal system won't punish an innocent person, and it won't let a guilty one walk free. We're all with you. We'll fight that creep to the bitter end. You go, girl. Don't let him silence you." I remembered, last time, how I'd commented on her posts, begging her to tell the truth, to leave me and my family alone. All I got in return was her scorn. She said I was a coward who couldn't own up to what I'd done, that I deserved to be hated. She said I was a disgrace to Northwood and didn't belong at the same school as her. She said a formal reprimand was too light. I should have been expelled. Then she posted her acceptance letter to the UK program. She even threatened that if I didn't kill myself, she would personally send a report of the incident to any graduate school or company I ever applied to, ensuring the label of harasser would follow me for the rest of my life. Even after I died, she showed no remorse. She posted a cheerful update on Instagram about getting ready for her fabulous life as a PhD student. When someone asked her what she thought about my suicide, she said I was clearly a coddled snowflake with no resilience. Not like her, a girl who fought her way up from a poor rural town. Nothing could ever break her. The memory of it all filled me with a towering rage. I went straight to her latest video and left a comment. "Ava Johnson, the trial is tomorrow. It's being live-streamed for the whole world to see. I hope you still have the guts to post videos after it's over." I sent the comment and turned off my phone. "Ava, I didn't have the courage to face the mob, so I chose a miserable death. Are you ready to face the backlash you created? Let's see if you're as strong as you claim to be. Don't you dare disappoint me." The day of the trial finally arrived. My lawyer picked me and Leo up early and drove us to the courthouse. Unlike my lawyer and me, who were completely relaxed, Leo was a nervous wreck. "Ethan, are you seriously not nervous at all?" I gave him a look. My lawyer answered for me. "What's there to be nervous about? It's a slam dunk." Hearing that, Leo finally looked a little less tense. I clapped him on the shoulder. "Relax. Today, the people who spread lies are going to pay." My mom, dad, and grandpa were already waiting for us at the courthouse entrance. Seeing them, my eyes filled with tears. I've been so consumed with the lawsuit since my rebirth that I hadn't even been home. This was the first time I'd seen them. Seeing my grandpa, looking healthy and strong, I could finally breathe a little easier. He was okay. That's all that mattered. My dad had brought them all here early to show their support. Our family walked into the courtroom. Dad, Mom, and Grandpa sat in the gallery with Leo. I sat calmly with my lawyer at the plaintiff's table. At the defendant's table sat the Vice President of Student Affairs and Ava Johnson, who looked smugly confident. When she saw me walk in, she shot me a look of pure contempt, like a preening, ugly peacock. The trial began. After the lawyers presented their initial documents, the judge made a point of announcing that the proceedings were being broadcast live online. I noticed Ava's expression flicker. Nervous already? I thought. We're just getting started. The evidence phase began. My lawyer stood and approached Ava. "Ms. Johnson, are you certain you saw my client place his hand inside his pants and make an indecent gesture toward you?" Ava looked at me with disgust. I don't even want to think about it anymore. The incident caused me profound emotional distress. My lawyer's voice was firm. "Please answer the question, Ms. Johnson." He was sitting right across from me. Who else would he have been doing it to? The judge frowned and reminded Ava to answer the question directly. I almost rolled my eyes. Did this woman not understand plain English? Ava glanced at the vice president, who gave her a slight nod. She couldn't deflect any longer. When people are cornered, they throw caution to the wind. Even though she had never actually looked down, only held her phone under the table to film, she now lied without batting an eye. "Yes, I'm certain. I saw it with my own two eyes." My lawyer stared at her, his tone hardening. "Ms. Johnson, I need you to understand that this is a court of law. You are legally responsible for every word you say. Lying under oath is perjury. I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you certain? Without a moment's hesitation, she replied, I'm certain. My lawyer gave her a long, hard look, then returned to our table without another question. He took a flash drive from his pocket and handed it to the court clerk. With the judge's permission, the clerk played the file. My live stream recording appeared on the large screens in the courtroom. The video clearly showed my hand on the outside of my jeans, scratching my upper thigh. It also clearly showed Ava, who never once looked down but was busy angling her phone under the table. It was undeniable. Ava had lied. She had committed perjury. A wave of murmurs swept through the gallery. The university administrators looked horrified. Leo let out a whoop of triumph. The law students in attendance started whispering loudly. How could she? She didn't even see anything, and she accuses him of sexual harassment? That's beyond shameless. She has no evidence for her claims. It's not just shameless, it's insane. She committed perjury in court, posted a doctor video to start a witch hunt. She's a legal illiterate. The judge banged his gavel. Order. The whispering subsided. The defendant will respond. Ava's head was bowed, tears streaming down her face. Whether they were from the students' comments or pure fear, I couldn't tell. The vice president glared at her, his face a mask of fury. It was obvious he'd been misled by her absolute conviction. The farce ended with the vice president and Ava Johnson giving me a forced, humiliating bow of apology in front of the entire internet. During the final statements, the judge asked if I had anything to add. I nodded. Some have asked why I requested this trial be live-streamed. It's because I was afraid. I was terrified of what the online mob, armed with lies, would do to me and my family. Some might say I'm being cruel to a young woman. But let me be clear, this was never about gender. This was about the truth. When a dispute like this arises, shouldn't we set aside our biases and look at the evidence? Shouldn't we listen to both sides and allow time for a proper investigation? Or should we just divide ourselves along gender lines and let our allegiances decide what's right and wrong? If I hadn't done this, what would have awaited me and my family? Ava's actions were an extreme overreach. The university's response was a failure of due process. The library is a public place. I didn't expose myself, I didn't touch anyone, and there was zero evidence of any lewd intent. Yet Ava relentlessly destroyed my reputation and weaponized public opinion against me. That is a clear violation. So no, I do not accept her apology. The vice president and Ava, who had just started to look relieved, went rigid with tension. The judge looked at me. What are your demands? In addition to a public apology, I am seeking $1 million in damages for defamation. A collective gasp went through the courtroom. They thought I was insane. Ava stared at me in utter disbelief. Coming from a poor, rural background, her family was by no means wealthy. $1 million was an impossible sum. Even $100,000 would be a struggle. The number was something my lawyer and I had decided on beforehand. Start high. It gives you plenty of room to negotiate. As for whether this would ruin her family, or what would happen to Ava herself, I didn't care. Whatever she suffered, she had earned it. Having lived through the hell of being cyberbullied, I knew the taste of that despair. I knew what it felt like to have a voice, but for your words to be as meaningless as the wind, to show proof of your innocence, and have no one believe you. I truly hoped Ava was as tough as she claimed to be. I hoped that when she faced the online hate, she wouldn't choose the same way out I did. I was eager to see if she could handle the scorn of her teachers and classmates any better than I had. A new battle began. After hours of negotiation between the lawyers, with the judge mediating, the final amount was set. $200,000. I was satisfied. It was more than enough to make Ava's life a living hell. This was her karma. Ava completely fell apart. If we hadn't been in a courtroom, she would have been on the floor, screaming and crying. For her family, $200,000 was an astronomical, life-shattering amount of money. As I was leaving the courthouse with my family, Ava ran up from behind and grabbed my arm. Ethan, I'm begging you. Can we lower the amount? I shook her off in disgust. Don't touch me. Are you trying to harass me now? Leo immediately stepped between us, acting as my bodyguard. He learned firsthand how vicious the internet could be. Unable to get to me, Ava rushed over to my mom and dropped to her knees. Ma'am, Please, I'm begging you, have mercy on me." My mom looked from Ava to me, her face filled with conflict. "Son, maybe we could." Before she could finish, my dad took her arm, stopping her. "Ava Johnson," I said, stepping around Leo to stand over her. "Don't beg my parents. You have something to say, you say it to me." All of her previous arrogance was gone. She was sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. Seeing her like this brought me a savage sense of satisfaction. She did this to herself. "Ethan, my family's from the country. It wasn't easy for me to get here. Can't you just let this go?" I stared at her, my expression blank. "Ethan, do you really want to see my family destroyed?" That made me laugh out loud. "Are you serious, Ava? Of course I want to see your family destroyed. Why wouldn't I? When you sicked that online mob on me, weren't you trying to destroy mine?" She swore up and down. "I never wanted that. I swear." I was suddenly bored with the conversation. "The money is due in 1 week. If I don't see it in my account, you can expect a visit from the sheriff." I started to walk away, then paused. A thought occurred to me, and I turned back with a smile, walking right up to where she was still kneeling on the pavement. Seeing me return, a flicker of hope ignited in her desolate eyes. "You know, Ava," I said sweetly, "you could always start a live stream. I hear it Northwood Angel is pretty famous now." Her face fell, and the hope died, replaced by pure despair. I knew she couldn't even bear to go online. The same people she'd manipulated were now armed with the most vile insults, just waiting for her to show her face. After we left the courthouse, I went straight home with my family. After what happened last time, I cherished every single moment with them. That evening, just after we'd finished a home-cooked meal, there was a knock at the door. The university president was there, along with the vice president, the dean, and my advisor, Sarah. My dad politely invited them in. The vice president and the dean looked deeply uncomfortable when they saw me. Sarah just gave me a thumbs up. I smiled back at her. The president, flanked by the other 2 administrators, offered a formal apology to me and my family. He assured us that Ava's case would be handled severely and that the university would issue a public statement clearing my name. I accepted. I didn't ask for any compensation from the school. I still had to finish my degree there, and it wouldn't do me any good to burn that bridge completely. Besides, the most important thing was that Ava's graduate scholarship was gone. She would likely be expelled, or at the very least, receive a severe disciplinary mark on her permanent record. That was all I really wanted. Back on campus, everything had changed. The cold stares, the whispers, the sneers, they were all replaced by polite nods and apologetic smiles. Leo had his arm around me, gleefully filling me in on everything I'd missed. The university had posted the apology letter and officially expunged the reprimand from my record. After he'd gone on for a while, I cut in. "What about Ava?" At the mention of her name, Leo's eyes lit up. Her scholarship was revoked. The school gave her a choice: expulsion or suspension with academic probation. She can't leave because a suspension means she can't apply to another college for 3 years. She's absolute poison now. Everyone, even the girls, just calls her trash to her face. It was perfect. The school's punishment was a sword hanging over her head. Every day she remained on campus was torture. If she left, she'd have to drop out and wouldn't be able to re-enroll anywhere else. But if she stayed, how could she possibly endure the environment? Even if she managed to stick it out until graduation, she'd never get her degree with that mark on her record. Her 4 years of college would amount to nothing. But I had a feeling she wouldn't last until graduation. The day after I returned, Ava and her academic advisor came to find me. The second she saw me, Ava dropped to her knees. Her advisor pleaded for her. "Ethan, please, can you find it in your heart to forgive her? She comes from a rural background, transferred here from a community college, and worked so hard to get into this university. She fought tooth and nail for that scholarship. I just hate to see such a hard-working student's life ruined." I frowned at the advisor. "Professor, what does any of that have to do with me? Does being a hard-working, horrible person make you any less of a horrible person? This university is supposed to be cultivating talent. Is she talent? People like her are a menace. The higher they climb in society, the more damage they do." Rendered speechless, the advisor left, dragging Ava with her. Ava shot me a look filled with pure hatred. "Hate me all you want," I thought. "I hope you carry that hate all the way to your grave." On the day the payment was due, Ava's parents came to our house with her. They were dressed in simple, worn clothes and looked like honest, hardworking people. I couldn't fathom where Ava's narcissism and cruelty had come from. Her father's hands trembled as he pulled out a thick, paper-wrapped bundle of cash, $18,000, and held it out to me. His eyes were full of shame and pain. "Young man, Mr. Hayes, I'm so sorry. We sold our tractor and cashed out all our savings, and this is all we could get. $180,000. Can you give us a little more time for the last $20,000? I promise, after the fall harvest, we'll pay you the rest." I looked at Ava. She just stared at the floor. "No," I said flatly. "I can't wait. Don't tell me. Tell the judge." My parents looked at me, their faces etched with pity, but I didn't soften. They made the choice to stand by their daughter. Now they had to live with the consequences. My refusal seemed to snap something in Ava's father. He raised his hand and slapped her across the face hard. "You useless girl," he screamed. "Why are you so wicked? Spreading lies, ruining people. I'll kill you." He hit her again and again. Her face began to swell, and blood trickled from the corner of her mouth. She glared at me, her eyes burning. "Ethan, haven't you done enough? There's a limit to everything." I stood up and opened the front door. "Your little drama doesn't work on me. Neither do your threats. You want to beat her, do it outside. Even if you beat her to death, you still owe me the money." After they left, my mom scolded me for being heartless. My dad was disappointed too. I could only laugh bitterly to myself. "Mom, Dad, if you only knew what this family went through last time, you wouldn't feel an ounce of sympathy for them." To my surprise, to pay back the final $20,000, Ava actually started live streaming to sell things. When Leo called and told me to rush back to the dorm, I had no idea what was going on. I walked in to find him staring at his phone, grinning like an idiot. "What was so important you had to drag me back from the library?" I grumbled. "Dude, you have to see this." He held out his phone. In the live stream, Ava was trying to sell some cheap makeup. The handprint on her cheek was still visible, but no one in the chat was asking about the products. It was just a wall of question marks. Then someone typed, "How does this bitch have the nerve to show her face?" The floodgates opened. "Don't say that. She might be ugly, but she's still a girl. Dude above me has no clue. That's at Northwood Angel. WTF, it's the girl who faked being harassed. That's her. I honestly don't get where she gets the confidence. Looking like that and claiming someone harassed her. LMAO for real. If I had to get it up for her, I think I'd go limp. That's foul, man. Just put a bag over her head. No way. She's got nothing going on. I'm not wasting my time. Holy shit. Ugly people really do cause the most problems. Who let this thing out of its cage? At Northwood Angel, LMAO, did you land on your face when you fell from heaven? You guys gotta understand, what else is she gonna do? You think she could sell herself on the street? I don't mean that. I mean, how does she have the gall to even be online? Gall? If she had any shame, she wouldn't have lied about being harassed. She wouldn't have committed perjury in court. Soon, the insults turned into vicious personal attacks. That's how the internet works. They could be manipulated into a mob, but if they find out they've been duped, the backlash is 100 times worse. The comments got filthier and filthier. Watching Ava on the screen, struggling to hold back tears, I pursed my lips. It looked like she was reaching her breaking point. She was still human, after all. Sure enough, a few moments later, Ava let out a strangled cry and collapsed, crouching on the floor in a heap. Someone off-camera quickly ended the stream. Leo swiped at his phone, disappointed. After waiting a few minutes and seeing the stream didn't come back, he sighed. And right when the show was getting good, he turned to me. "You gotta hand it to these internet trolls. They know how to hit where it hurts. The kids at school are amateurs compared to this. Ava could just ignore them on campus." I nodded in agreement. As satisfying as it was to watch Ava get destroyed, the sheer venom of the comments was unsettling. With the show over, Leo put down his phone. "How much longer do you think she'll last? I don't see how she can stay at school." I thought for a moment. Not long. At this point, I don't think it's about whether she can stay at school. It's about whether she can stay alive. I didn't realize how right I was. A month later, Ava asked me to meet her on the roof of the science building. When she handed me the final $20,000, I took it without hesitation and counted it right in front of her. She watched me with cold eyes. When I finished, she finally spoke. "I paid you back everything I owed you. Can you please post a statement online saying you forgive me? I couldn't believe she was still clinging to that idea. It's useless, Ava. You can't undo this. Even if I posted something, people would just say I was being the bigger person. They'd never actually forgive you. At my words, she broke down again. Why, Ethan? Why? I lied about you one time. Why do I have to pay such a high price for it? I watched her hysterical breakdown in silence. This fantasy of my forgiveness was the only thing that had kept her going. Suddenly, she stopped screaming. She scrambled over to the edge of the roof and stood on the ledge. Ethan, if you don't post that statement, I'll jump. I was completely done with her. Ava, are you actually insane? What does you jumping have to do with me? I thought you were the tough girl from the country with all that resilience. What happened to that? Her eyes were bloodshot as she glared at me. Ava, go ahead and die if you want. There's a security camera right there. Your threats mean nothing to me. Seeing my resolve, she let out a crazed, high-pitched laugh. You just wait, Ethan Hayes, she shrieked. I'll haunt you from the grave. And with that, she threw herself from the roof. I calmly looked at the empty space where she had been, then turned and headed for the stairs. Haunt me from the grave? I am terrified. Too bad for you, Ava. Scum like you doesn't get a second chance. Enjoy your trip to hell.